everyone, Steph here, former Secret Slob. So I am reaching the end of All Requests October, where I have been doing all the video requests that you have been sending in, or at least trying to get to as many of them as possible. And today I am going to tackle a huge one for not only myself, but also one that has been requested a ton. And that is how to deal with paper clutter. So I am a former Secret Slob, kind of just coming out of it, a little bit of a Secret Slob still. And one of the biggest things that is overwhelming me in my life, or has in the past, is paper clutter. You could stop buying things today, never bring another thing into your house, and somehow paper would still find its way in here, whether it's bills or kids' artwork or just things your kids bring home or things you bring home or whatever. Paper can just be totally overwhelming. So I'm going to use today's video to deal with my paper clutter. I have decluttered it before in the past, but never really established a solid system for my paper. And that is what I'm going to do today. So I hope that if you are having problems or just feeling overwhelmed with paper in your life and just stuff is kind of everywhere, you'll take a couple minutes and try to make an improvement with me. You don't have to use the system I'm going to use. Find the system that works best for you. I don't even know if my system is the best one for me, but quite frankly, any system is going to be better than the system of papers everywhere that we currently use. So first things first, I'm going to gather up all the papers in my house that are just driving me crazy. And this includes the ones that I have hidden away in drawers and pretended they're not even there. So I'm gonna grab all my papers now. Okay, so this is my paper clutter from my house. And like I say, I have decluttered before, but I've never gotten into these old files that have been sitting in our basement for years. I don't even honestly know what's in them, which makes them probably pretty likely we don't need them. 2 rules before I get started. These are my decluttering rules for everything. Number 1, do not declutter other people's stuff. So if you are married like I am, or you have roommates or whatever, just get them involved with you if you're decluttering paper, especially because it's hard to know what's important. Rule number 2, don't take out more than you have time to put away. So my kids are sleeping. I have a solid 2 hours. I think this is only going to take me 40 minutes, maybe half an hour, and because I plan on being ruthless. So I think this is manageable, and I'm just lucky. But if you have just like a crazy pile, start with one little thing. Start with 15 minutes on the timer, do it a little bit every day, whatever, work through your pile. Just don't pull it all out, especially if you're gonna put it in the kitchen or something like this, and then it's taking up your space you need to cook. Don't do that, just take out a little at a time if you do not have time to put it away. So those are my 2 rules. So the next thing you wanna do is have a plan. Your paperwork can be divided into a few categories. You might have more, you might have less, but for me, it's going to be documents I need right away within the month, documents I need to save, for a year or long term, very important documents, so health documents, passports, travel, things like that. And then my favorite, things to be recycled, shredded, and thrown in the garbage. And that is probably going to be the majority of your stuff, because a lot of us are hanging on to stuff just in case, and you don't need to do that. Almost everything is online now, including old bills, so there's no reason to keep that stuff. Let's just get rid of it. So I'm gonna start going through my stuff, being ruthless, throwing stuff away, and yeah, we'll see what we find, because like I say, I don't know what half this is. Okay, so one thing I'm getting rid of a lot of here, and there's like folders and folders, is bank statements. I don't know why I've been keeping these. They were mailed to me every month before I went totally digital, so this is my stack of old bank statements so far. It's all online. I don't need to keep them. I did keep my one that has my mortgage on it for the house that I bought before I was married, but otherwise, I don't need to keep these. They are going in the garbage. That's already a big stack right there. Okay, the other thing that I'm finding is, same as old bank statements, old bills. Like these are our old medical services plan bills. In Canada, we pay, get this, I think $150 for my entire family a month for all of our medical stuff. We're very lucky to live in Canada and have that, but I don't know why I'm keeping these bills. Like these months have passed. This one's from 2013. I don't need that. I don't need a record that I paid. I've obviously used the hospital. I've had 2.5 babies. So yeah, no need to keep that. That's going in the garbage. So if you have old bills, stuff you don't need to keep and you don't know why you're keeping it, just get rid of it. Okay, so as I'm going through, I found a perfect example of something that you need to keep long-term, but not too long-term. And these are our house insurance packages. So this one's from 2017 and this one's from 2018. These aren't even valid anymore, so there's really no point in keeping them. So I'm gonna get rid of these. They're probably on file there anyways, and we have the current one here for 2019, 2020, or yeah, 2020. And so yeah, some things you need to keep long-term, but not forever. So I think from here forward, I'll try, like when I put a new one in, to pull the old one out and just get rid of it. So a couple other things you might want to keep for a little while, but not forever, is receipts. This is a receipt for a lawnmower that we bought 6 years ago. We don't need it anymore. And on that note, I also found a receipt from 1997, so 22 years ago, for a stereo that my husband bought for himself when he was like a teenager. That went in the garbage. I don't even have to ask him if he wants to keep that. It's just, yeah, receipts. Often we keep receipts for big ticket items, so just go through, get rid of the ones that obviously have no purpose anymore. We're keeping our lawnmower, we've had it for 6 years, it works great. All right, so I basically have gone through all of our like formal paperwork stuff. This is stuff we need to keep and organize. This is stuff that we use currently on a month-to-month basis that we have to file every month and then deal with at the end of the year. This is garbage. And then back there are a couple files that I just need my husband to look at and deal with. But look at all these empty folders that had like 1 or 2 things in them or nothing in them. I got this thing emptied, I got this, like obviously I've been trying to organize this for years. So the last thing in our house that's a new item for us is children's artwork. And as you can see, I have very prolific artists in my house. So a few months ago, I figured out a way that I was going to deal with children's artwork. The first way that I deal with it is by just sorting through and choosing the things that are, you know, worth keeping. My daughter's 3. And the things that are just scribbles. So it's pretty easy to figure out what's a special item for me, and you might have stricter standards and you might not, but I already went through this pile earlier. I just wanted to keep it all to show you, like, my kids make a lot of stuff, but most of this is just practice stuff for them. And I picked out, oh yeah, this is another little thing, I'm gonna keep that. 2 little things here. So what I have is a little folder that I keep in the command center. So every day when she comes home from preschool, I look at what she's made, and sometimes, you know, it's something really nice and something that she's worked really hard on. Like, for example, here's a picture she drew of our family. It's, you know, it's scribbly, but this is what she drew when she was 3. And sometimes it's like this, you know, I don't need to keep this. So everything that I feel like is worthwhile keeping, or something she's worked a little bit harder on, I put in this little folder. So I'm gonna put these in here. And then they're basically chronological from the back to the front, oldest to newest. And then what I've been doing is I started this scrapbook, and I've been stapling her stuff into this scrapbook, the stuff that I really like. And then I'll label at the front, so I'll write her name and her age, and then, you know, as she gets older, I'll get more and more scrapbooks. This was kind of inspired by something that I had when I was a child, and I just really like it because you can look through it like a book as opposed to just a stack of papers. Also, like you can see, this is just the stuff we've produced in the last week, and this is the stuff from like the last 4 months that I've chosen to keep. So I'm really particular about what I keep. And it's just mostly the stuff that's just scribbles or, you know, random coloring pages. Don't have to keep everything. So this is how I'm keeping it, and then I'm gonna sit down every once in a while and put it all in this scrapbook, and then she'll have that. I'll have to start a new one for my second daughter soon because she's starting to get into the art and stuff like that. But for now, it's just the oldest one. And yeah, so this is the end of my organizing. Here's my pile of garbage. Well, I'm gonna get it shredded. My husband has a shredder at his work, so I'm gonna do that. And here is our new file folder. So this is my stuff all organized. I feel so good. All right, so that is the end of me tackling the crazy paperwork in my house. It's not that bad. I've been working on decluttering for the past year, but that was a bunch of stuff that had been sitting downstairs in a file cabinet and I had just been avoiding and even just tossing papers in. So I'm sure you have a place or a drawer where you just kind of shove papers. You don't know if they're important. Maybe they are. I don't know. So my final result, here is my garbage to be recycled. Here is my new filing bin with, you know, not that much stuff. A couple sentimental things, and then stuff for my husband to go through. So remember, do not declutter other people's stuff, especially paperwork. You don't know what's important to them. So, I mean, it's pretty easy for me. All of our stuff's combined, but there's a lot of stuff from before my time that he can go through himself. Going forward with paperwork, my system, which I have kind of established over the last year, is to bring in the mail or the paperwork. I put it in one place. So here's our mail from last week. I haven't even opened it. I put it in a special place. As soon as I bring it in, and it goes in there, and then on Tuesdays, plan and pay day, I open all my mail, deal with it, and throw away as much as possible. Like I said, kind of when I was going through things, the only items that I keep are the current, not replaceable items. So I hope you are able to tackle some of your paper clutter with me and find a really great little spot to put it, keep it all organized, and just remember, nothing gets to go in here that you don't need to keep, or unless you're pulling something out. So as soon as we get our new house insurance policy, I'll take it, put it in here, and I'll pull the old one out, because why would I hang on to an expired insurance policy? But remember, the majority of things can be thrown away and just out of your life forever. I hope that you made some progress with your paper clutter today, and especially I hope you can establish a system that will work for you to prevent paper from accumulating. My best advice is deal with it every single week on Tuesdays. Everything you have, flyers, bills, cards, artwork, everything. Just really make an effort to take those 10, 15 minutes a week to deal with it, because like I said at the beginning of the video, paperwork is never going to just go away completely. It always finds its way into our lives. Have a wonderful day. I hope it's beautiful where you are. You can see the sun is shining. I'm going to go outside a little bit later. Bye.